Hello everyone, Firecrest Gaming here and welcome back to another video. We're back after another long break, I admit, with the F1 2016 career mode. I'm going to look to finish this off very soon. I'm going to try and record a couple of episodes today. We'll voice over as such. And then I'll try to have the series wrapped up, hopefully by the end of this week. I'm not sure how that's going to work. It's just going to vary depending on how the college timetable works for me around the videos, but I'm not going to waste any time. Let's just go straight into qualifying and how poor is the result this time. Good to see some things don't change with time, but never mind, we're going to go straight to the race. I know it's been a bit jumpy, but I want to just go straight for it. As we are away now in Malaysia, and straight away from P14 on the grid behind Carlos Sainz and Valtteri Bottas in the Williams. Just having to follow him down to someone. We've got Magnussen in the Renault, having a look at the inside, diving it up the inside into the first corner, having a look straight at the inside of Nico Rosberg, already going for the Mercedes and the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. So now we have Verstappen and Kimi Raikkonen ahead of us. We've just got to try and jump the two of them. We're going to have a look now into turn 4, following the slipstream, and just on the brakes maybe, we do get up the inside of the two of them, and look at this. Fernando Alonso up in P3 in this Grand Prix. Very good start for the McLaren Honda driver. But as you would suspect, the McLaren Honda, extremely easy pickings for us, so we just need to follow him in the slipstream and overtake when the time is right. So we're going to use the slipstream on the back straight, up through the gears into 8th gear, touching 200 miles an hour, and up the inside of the McLaren, and we get the Spaniard now for P3 in this race. An awesome start. P14 to P3 as it normally is. Rapid start. So currently is Sebastian Vettel leading, Lewis Hamilton second, and us third. But that might be able to change. We dive up the inside way too late on the brakes there, but we do manage not to drive the car off the circuit, and we just get up the inside of Hamilton. But Hamilton trying to fight back on the rundown to turn 4, side by side, the long sweeping turn 3. This seems awfully familiar, and now around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. He's trying to have a look, and it is no good. We hold it around the outside for P2 in this race. I think, though, Sebastian Vettel is too far up the road. I don't quite think we can get the lead of this. So instead, we're going to box on this lap for the hard tyres. A bit of a early call, you could say, but I guess we'll have to see how this one works out. Down the gears, down to second, and we're in to the pits. Sadly, that pit stop left us all the way at the back, and it hasn't paid off because you can see in the top left, Kimi Raikkonen has actually jumped us straight away for P3. Hamilton, however, is nowhere to be seen at the moment. Vettel still leads. Then it's us and Verstappen. But there, on the we move on to lap 11 now, we've gone horribly wide. We let Valtteri Bottas through and almost let Verstappen through. But I think it's over for Valtteri Bottas. His Williams way too quick and straight line, and off he goes into the distance, and there goes the podium position. It was a valiant effort, but it's all over in the end, and bye bye Valtteri is all I can say at this point in the race, which definitely is a shame after the earlier results. But as we move on to the beginning of lap 13 now, we have Lewis Hamilton up the inside. No idea where Rosberg is in this race. He's nowhere to be seen at all. We're having a look round the out, but Hamilton tries to fly it up the inside. We're going to try and get back on Hamilton, jumping over the curves there, very aggressively trying to get the position back, and pretty much mirror matching what we had earlier. Same tyres as the Mercedes. But Hamilton gets a bit of a better run this time, using the slipstream. He almost looks like he brake checked us there, going down to turn 4. Doesn't matter. We're going to hold it around the outside, and we're going to maintain P3 in this race over Lewis Hamilton. And on the final lap now, Hamilton, one last look at the inside into the final corner. We retaliate, get through, hold him up, and Fernando Alonso takes B5 from the Mercedes. Sebastian Vettel wins, Raikkonen second, Valtteri Bottas third, and we're going to come home in a rather disappointing at the end of the day, P4.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. Tell me, Alex, what was the key to this success?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
Without wasting much more time, let's move on to the Japanese Grand Prix. Ferrari locking out a 1-2, Mercedes 3rd and 4th. Lights are out and away we go now. Bad start by the second Ferrari, I'm not quite sure that is Mercedes. Trying to jump him straight away into turn 1. We, of course, as normal, long way down the field. There we are, just going with our teammate there, actually forcing him off the circuit. That was a bit aggressive of us. But at the end of the day, it's lap 1, everyone's bunched up, we're all trying to get through. We're now ahead of one of the Williams, I believe it's Valtteri Bottas, and behind both McLaren Hondas versus Fernando Alonso. Then Jenson Button going through the first section of the S's and now through the long left-hand of the corner that seemingly never ends, all the way running up to the Degner corners through the fast right-handers and having a look up the inside of Fernando Alonso when we get the move done on the first McLaren. And now we have Jenson Button ahead of us for P8 now in this race, and straight at the inside, maybe a bit too far over the curve, but at the end of the day we're into P8 and now behind both Red Bull cars of Max Verstappen and then Daniel Ricciardo, who I believe Ricciardo at this point, it should be worth noting, has started on the medium compound of tyre, and Verstappen got past him on the run up to 130R, but now we're stuck on Verstappen and Ricciardo jumps back through into P6. It's all got a bit manic here, getting tangled up with both Red Bull cars of Verstappen, more contact with the Dutchman, but we get past Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen looks as though he's going to follow through, and yeah, it's now P6 for me, P7 for Verstappen, and P8 for Ricciardo. That was all a bit of a manic set of events. Let's see that again. So there we go, down the inside firmly of Ricciardo. We just put in too late on the brakes though and hit Verstappen. He's off into the gravel and Ricciardo sneaks through on both of us. And Verstappen here just comes across the circuit and just sideswipes us. And then I don't know what's going on with Ricciardo here. We were so slow in a straight line, and we re-overtake because our car is nowhere near the fastest car in a straight line. And Verstappen forces his teammate off the circuit, almost in frustration there. And as we move on all the way to the end of lap 5, we're not going to make the same mistake we did in Malaysia. We're going to pit on our recommended lap. We're not going to change the strategy. And I should note that every race after this was post-patches. The other races were pre-patches, just because I had to restart this race so many times because of the race just going badly, to be honest. If I can just be brutally honest, I just wanted to restart it and do it again. We're out in P14, but as we move on to P7, we're actually been jumped by Daniel Ricciardo. Staying out on the medium tyres has worked for the Australian. We're now running side by side near enough with Max Verstappen, and Max, no chance, into 130R, he backs out of it. And again, as we're going to move on to lap 9, he's actually being very closely followed, I believe, by Valtteri Bottas. And he's going to again, we're into Rich Mix. Verstappen, here he comes in the slipstream. He moves to the inside of the circuit this time. We're almost side by side, but we just have enough straight line speed to outpace the Red Bull. The Red Bull horribly slow in a straight line. And while all this was happening, there was a genuine battle for the lead as the two Ferraris were going head to head as Raikkonen going straight past Vettel on the even before he's got to 130R, and he has just got past his teammate with no problem at all, almost as though Ferrari asked Vettel not to fight him there once Raikkonen got the run on him. But Vettel will have the DRS as he comes up to turn 1. There's the activation point across the start-finish line. I believe this was about lap 9, 10, and he almost has a look at Raikkonen but thinks better of it, as he is going to go for a second attempt, and now looking back from Kimi Raikkonen this time. This is the next lap, and there goes Vettel straight past his teammate. Raikkonen moving across the circuit there, and Vettel's all out of shape, both Ferraris kind of getting a bit unprofessional there. As there's no yellow flags on the circuit, and you can see a slow car. I think it's Raikkonen in P6. Raikkonen, there's something wrong with Kimi Raikkonen here, what's going on? He's right there, he's extremely slow. My bet, I reckon it's a puncture. Which would be a bit weird, but I believe Kimi did stop a bit earlier. And there you go, he's ridden on the curve on the right hand side. and pop goes his tyre, and it's all over for the Finn. No chance of a victory today, and he will that is devastating for the Finn, as he now holds up both Mercedes cars through the S section, going so slowly, and Rosberg, or neither Rosberg or Hamilton can get past him. And still, this is just an omen almost how bad the AI are. Just like, surely any person who has any common sense would make the AI overtake the slow car, not form an orderly train behind it, as Hamilton is just seeing his teammate roar off into the distance, and he hits the back of Raikkonen as well. I assume it was that Bottas, maybe. And one of the Williams also gets past, but he actually got past the clean way. It would have gifted us another position and 2 extra points, as Sebastian Vettel takes his 2nd win in a row. We are going to take home a rather quiet P6.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you all very much for watching if you did. I'm going to, as I said earlier, I'm going to try and get the F... Oh, hold on.
Emma here. I had a sit down with the executives today to talk about your progress. Long story short, they're happy. Keep it up.
Okay, just general team update. Okay, never mind. But yeah, thank you very much for watching if you did. I'm going to try and get the F1 Tasting Cream, as said, done by this week. Hope you're looking forward to it. We've got USA and Mexico next, and as far as I remember, they're not too bad races. I'll see you then, guys, and I hope you're looking forward to it. Goodbye.